Technology.
Oh,
And of course, you can
it's
always
wonderful,
tell if
isn't
it's
it?
working. Yeah. Oh, I had a devil of a time on Monday with the live stream. OBS, for whatever reason, seemed to not want to communicate with YouTube and had to go around and around in circles for about 10 minutes to figure it out. And I just like done a live stream, the night before, no
Hmm.
problems. And then on Monday, for whatever reason, it was giving me grief. So,
Well, I think I popped in there and I noticed it wasn't running, and I immediately piped up, "Hey, I don't think it's working." And it's like everybody was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 we know."
so yeah, okay, well, good. Well, yeah, so I downloaded the version 1.5 rules and the charts for that as well. So I've got the new charts, and yeah, there are some differences. It looks like there's some clarifications, which
Yes,
are
definitely.
good to see. Um, and some of the things that we talked about, it looks like they did add into it. Like, for example, they have for each SP loss due to defensive fire, it's a +1 on the die roll modifier. So if
Which
you,
makes a lot of
oh
sense, but
yeah,
that's not what the chart said before. So,
nope, nope. So they've got that there, and then they've got the odds die roll modifier is different if it's infantry assaulting versus cavalry assaulting, which I thought was interesting.
yes, I like that.
Yeah, yeah. And then they clarified a few other things too. So I don't have them all memorized at this moment in time, but now that this is as close to an official version that they're going to have for a while, I think what I'll try to do is, like I've done with some of the Labatai stuff, put together a sequence of play cards that are just like a
Oh, good
little
idea.
like flashcards kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then that should be hopefully potentially helpful for myself and anybody else. So we'll see how that goes. Um,
Yes.
yeah. What did you have to say as far as with the rules from what you could see?
Well, I think they're better. I think that there are still some places where I find some ambiguities. Um, I have a little cheat sheet that I put together with kind of the main points that I refer to a lot. I've also put the new manual into Notebook LM
Okay.
because it lets me search faster. The
Yes.
results are not perfect, but as you know, in Notebook LM, it does give you the page numbers.
Yes.
So it refers to the manual. So if I find something that doesn't sound quite right, I can go check it in the manual because the search in PDF is not particularly good.
Yes. That is true.
Um, the one thing that I'm still kind of wrestling with, just so you know, because we're probably going to run into this, is the retreat procedure. And now it's better defined, but I still find some places where I'm trying to arbitrate between different rules, different priorities. So anyway, we'll run into that and we can walk through it and see where we get.
Yeah. It did look like they were clarifying kind of the order of operations was always the thing that we had some issues with. So, like, say you had three adjacent combat units, and they're all being assaulted, and one of them, basically as a result of the assault, breaks or is eliminated. Then the other two guys adjacent, they're also being assaulted. Do they do their defensive fire? Do they do their assault stuff? And then they roll to stand? So it sounds like you roll to stand immediately. So, if we were to attack something and there's, multiple assaults happening, in proximity, um, those assaults might not happen if the guy bugs out because he fails his stand check because of the guy next to him ran away.
Right.
So I thought that was helpful. They finally added something there that sort of said, okay, this is how you do things in this order and then that order. So, but it might also be the case. It looks like you execute the retreat move and then you execute any stand checks. So it could be, um, that that depending on the situation, the the units that get stuff. The retreat's going to happen, and then the stand checks are going to happen, and then you'd go on to whatever the next assault would be. Um,
Right.
so that's
All
what's up with
retreats
that.
occur immediately as they are determined. Stand retreats are conducted immediately after the main retreat is conducted.
Yep, yep. So I'm glad they put that in there because that had been a big source of frustration, at least for us when we were first trying to play it. So cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, think about, or do before we press forward?
No, except that on Board Game Geek, they're collecting other questions and things. So if things come up, we should still report them. They're being proactive about getting things, but I don't know what they're going to do with them at this point because I think that they're finalizing the rules.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at even based on the rules as we've been playing them so far, they've got it playable, even though there were areas where there's some ambiguity. But you know, I can live with that. At least the game was playable, which was more than could be said for the original set of rules that came in the box. Um,
Well,
yeah. Oh, and the other thing that I saw that was interesting, and I think you noted it too on your little cheat sheet that you sent me, was that the divisional leader moves at the end. So at the so when you check for who's in command, you do that at the beginning of when you activate that division.
yep, that
And
was
so
ambiguous in the original rules.
yeah, yeah. And so therefore, hey, this guy's out of command. It's not like you could then move the division leader partway through the activation, and now that guy who had been out of command is now suddenly in command, kind of a thing. Um, so I thought that was interesting too. So yeah,
Right.
lots of good things, some clarifications, um, and that's the sort of thing that you only really get when people play the game a bunch and you have people play testing it. So that's why you know um, I'm glad they've got that sorted out. So cool.
But this game definitely has momentum. As an observer of games for many years, there are great games that don't go anywhere, and there are great games that get traction, and this is getting traction, and that's very nice. I'm glad of it.
Yeah, yeah. They could. There's still some things that could be done to improve,
Oh yes.
but at least I think things are generally better than what they were before. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
Last note is that I am in control of the Vassal module at this time. The other developer and I would switch it off, so I have the hot copy right now. So I will be putting in the new charts,
Okay.
and there's actually a typo for Schludit not having a victory point. So we'll be adding that in as well. So those are
Okay.
going to get done, and hopefully that gets posted on the weekend.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we want to get started, we can. I think the cube that we picked there as we wrap things up was a Russian activation cube.
That's my thought.
So, yep. So the Ruskies get to do something exciting. And let's
That's
see
the
what I
Yuskis
have
at this
done.
point.
Yeah, that is the Miskis. So let's see. I activated Bagavoo once. I've got the 8th Division hasn't done anything yet. Markov hasn't done anything yet. And the 4th Division hasn't done anything. Um, I think I'm going to activate Bagavoo for a second time um, and see what we can do. We're going to see if we can't um, cause you some slight inconvenience or more of an inconvenience. Let's put it that way.
Hey, before
Um,
we start,
yep.
I see some move markers. We should probably clear those right now, don't you think?
All right. I just hit the magic move button.
Great.
Yep. Um, let's see. So now I did have a question. Um, if if a unit is out of command, can it attack an adjacent unit?
Yes, I think it behaves normally, except it must move towards the commander. But defending and things like that, it can do just fine where it is.
Okay. That's what I was curious about. So, for example, I've got this unit out here that is out of command, but I'm like, okay, could I have them attack? Now, we do have a situation here that is now illegal. I mean, I think I'd seen something where it said cavalry cannot be in obstructed terrain even if there's a road there.
It can move through the terrain, but it can't defend there. That's an ambiguous spot. Um, I know that there's a situation where I can't charge and I can't retreat through it, but I can move through it. So right now, yeah, it is a gray area.
Yeah, so
I don't
that's
think you should be able to attack into it,
yeah. Well,
nor
and
me
I
out of
know
it.
I know normally I couldn't attack into it because it's general order terrain. But
Right.
I was curious because I saw something. I mean, before it had said, and maybe I was in the retreat section, before it had said, cavalry can retreat through um, the woods or something like that if there's a road, but then they changed it. So it says now a retreating cavalry unit retreats a number of hexes equal to half. Okay, that's not it. Cavalry units may not retreat into obstructed terrain hexes, not even while moving along a road. So that's something that's new because I think before that, cavalry could retreat through the village or the woods if there was a road hex there. Um,
Yes, I think you're right.
yeah,
I think in this case, though, the cavalry wasn't retreating, it was moving through. And so that's still, I'm looking at the new charts, and
right.
there's no change on the charts for the cavalry. So I think cavalry, hold on just a second here. My Imperial Guard corgis have just attacked,
Always,
but they're done.
always good to do. Always important to
Well,
know. Well, and it also looks like, did I understand this correctly, that artillery can prolong? They can move one
yes,
hex? Okay.
artillery can prolong.
Okay.
If it has a defend, a move, or an attack order, it can prolong one hex.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to clarify because I'm like, oh, okay.
That's a
Um,
nice thing.
I think it's a very welcome thing. And then the whole thing about, not having they didn't do the refuse flanks, but instead you can then just pivot to face an oncoming attack. So for example, I
That's
was
in effect the refuse. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So I mean, for example, if I were to move this cavalry unit over here, well, I guess that's not a flank, but okay, for the artillery that would be a flank,
Right.
right? So then the artillery could turn and blast me. But if
Yes.
I moved there, let's see where else. If I moved there and there, he could face one or the other, but not both, right? So
Correct.
that would be the
Unless it's
only
two
way
separate activations.
Right.
You
No,
get
no.
one 60-point turn per activation. So if you have cavalry from two divisions,
Right.
attack once, I can turn to that. Attack a second one on a new activation, I can turn to face that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I get that part. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Um, all right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So everybody's in command except that one cavalry unit that's out there in the hinterlands, and I'll just leave him there for the moment. What else can I do? So uh, I'm going to move this guy, the top unit. I'm going to put him into column. So that's going to cost me 1. And I'm already -1, I think, because it's the second activation, right?
You
Yes.
gotta look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so that leaves. So then he can, when he goes in the column, he can get a facing change for free, and then he can go there for 3 movements, and then let's see, that was 1, 2, and 3, 4 gets him there.
That'll do it.
Okay, cool. Um, And then what am I going to do? I got to. I need more. I need more troops. um,
What commander has not said that?
yeah, I know. I know. Um, I'll move this guy here, and then I'll move these guys here, and that should hopefully take care of things there. Now, the question is, what do I want to do with my lancers on this side of the battlefield? Um, I'll put him here, and I'll put this other guy, I guess, here. Whoops, I just cloned him. I didn't mean to do that. I keep hitting, you know,
The Myrmidon.
can you fix the turning? Get it back to Control X or Control, all the other stuff we're
Um,
used to.
yeah, I've asked Nicholas that a lot. What I'm actually considering doing is making the final module and then fixing it and then making a North America module so you can pick
Okay. Hey, so I'm
because
wondering then, so with this cavalry unit that I'd had here, could I put him into the village and he could defend that hex? I
well,
mean,
that's the gray area. He's allowed to travel through the road. He can enter it.
right.
And then I don't know how we defend it. I would assume it would just be a regular
I guess you'd
thing. I
have to
think this is a
attack it
gray
like
area.
anything else, right?
Yep, you have to attack it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll do that.
So that means I would expect to get the -2, but you attacking out of it would also get a -2.
Yeah, I'm not intended to attack out of it so much as just
Hold it.
hold it. Yeah. I mean, the idea is you've got all these guys pounding their way down the road. Trying to put the cavalry out there to slow you down is what I was thinking. So, okay.
But it presents an interesting problem because infantry can't really attack cavalry. I mean, I guess we can. We can just move adjacent to it and then do an assault.
Right. And then I
But
could retreat back one.
right.
Yeah. That would be the idea. So, okay. Um, well, or you use your cavalry to clear me out of the way first.
Well, the cavalry can't attack you because it's in the town.
Oh no, yeah, that's true. You still have to send the infantry in. Yep, that would be the only way to do it. So,
Yeah, I have to do it. I have to do it with chopsticks here. I got to go in and use my hands.
okay. Well, I'm going to do an attack then on Legrand here. So I've got this hex, this hex, this hex, and let's see, how many is that? That gives me 8, and 6 is 14, 18, 18 to 6. That's 3 to 1.
On the nose.
Yeah, and I guess I'll do that. So you would have then defensive fire. These guys could fire there, and then these guys would have to split their fire between these two hexes, I guess. Or
Yeah, they can split in 3 directions, but they can't be contiguous hexes that they're firing into. So that means that there's only 2 shots I can take there of 2.
right. And so where did you find that part? Because I found that for square, but I didn't find it with.
It's in the same section. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it. Let me find it. I was just looking at it.
Oh, okay. I think it's on page 27. All right. So infantry in square and obstructed terrain can execute fire combat. Infantry in square and in obstructed terrain have an
Yep.
all around
That's
facing, divide their SPs by 3 with fractions rounded up, and then they can fire a maximum of 2 SPs out. So I guess if you had 4 SPs, you could only fire out, 2. You could either do 2, 1, and 1, or you could
right.
do, some other combination, or 2 and 2 and 0. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I guess you could fire out then those 3.
Okay, so I'm going to take first the fire from adjacent from here. right? Because
Okay.
that's going to be fairly clear. So that's 2 points.
Yep.
And I'm going to go to the new fire table. Just
So
go back there.
it's defensive fire, so you should have a +1. And it's
Okay.
infantry, French infantry against infantry in column. So you'll have another +1. So you'll have a +2 altogether.
All right. Okay, so let's roll these dice.
An
Woohoo!
8, that becomes a 10. That's enough for a single hit.
On a 2. No, it's a 2.
Oh, it's a 2. Oh, it's a miss. Okay. I was
So
on
I
the
need a
looking at 4.
+1 additional.
Okay.
So no. Okay. And then we'll take the next guy and I'll fire here.
Right. So you'll still have the +2 for that one.
Right. And then the other ones are of no use because if you're in, there's no way I can get an effect on this one or this one. So I'm taking the 2 that I can take there
Okay.
and I don't get anything.
So you can't hit me. Target is in obstructed terrain. So you'd have a -1 altogether.
I would have a -2. Target is in obstructed terrains a -2.
Right. But you get a +1 because it's defensive fire, right?
Oh, right. Yes, right. Of course you are.
So you'd have to roll boxcars to get a hit.
To make it work.
Yeah, but you do have at least one chance to, a slight chance.
Yep. There's a slight chance.
Yep.
Well, I might as well take it then just in case.
Sure. You never know.
And in that case, I'm going to take it on. I can't take it here because I fired there, so I can take it there. So boxcars, nope, not even. Not even cattle car at that point.
So you can't fire at non-contiguous hexes?
Yeah, I think it's this way in La Bataille. You can
It
fire.
is, but it doesn't say anything here specifically about that. That says after calculation, a maximum of 2 SPs each can fire into 3 different hexes. So that
read that. Hold on, let me just read here.
yeah, so it doesn't say 3 non-contiguous hexes. It just says 3 different hexes. So I know in La Bataille, yes, you couldn't fire at all 3 of those. You could fire at one and then the other one like you just did, but there's nothing here that indicates that.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and look this up. Hold on, real quick. Dang it, where's we at? Chat studio. Okay. I really like Notebook LM. It's not perfect, but it's a great tool.
Cool.
Okay. That's this one. So which is this which uses it does not say that. That was a discussion that happened, and apparently that didn't come to fruition. So you're right. I can fire at any 3 adjacent hexes.
Yeah. So take a shot
Cool.
at the one you haven't shot at yet.
Right. I'm going to take this guy then. So
Yep.
let's. Well, I rolled I already rolled on that one. I didn't get anything. So
Oh,
still the same.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that was
So
my defensive.
that was your defensive fire. Okay, cool. So now we move to the attack, and our odds are 3 to 1. So you've got a -2 for the odds. You're in obstructed terrain, so that's a +2. So we're back to 0.
Okay.
Um,
And you are attacking from an obstructed terrain.
I'm trying to find that. Okay, so that's down further down. All right. So then
That's in the next box.
And then, but you've got a leader there who's going to add 2, right?
Yes, and that's new.
Yeah.
Adding the defense factor of the leader is part of 1.5.
Right. So that'll give you a +2. And assaulting from obstructed terrain is +2. So there's +4, right? And then my leader is going to subtract 1.
Right?
So we are at a +3. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I have to get really
Did you
lucky.
get the charge through multiple hexes?
Oh, no, I forgot about that. Charge through.
So that's another 1.
Okay. So then it's a +2.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So you need a high odds to try to make this work
Yep,
or shoot
that's
somebody's
correct.
leader off their horse.
Oh, wait, well, I like, whoa. You want to roll low. 7 or less is what you want to roll.
Well,
Fire is high.
yeah. I want to roll very low. A 7, that becomes a 9. Nope, that's not good enough with a +2, is it?
Nope.
Nope. So I'm going to take a strength point loss. Oh, fiddle faddle. So we'll take it off of these guys.
Now,
And
the other thing to remember here is it's not on this chart, but it's on what they've distributed. That that if you roll a 12 in your assault, you have a chance of a leader casualty.
right, but that makes it sound like, I mean, it should be the case where the attacker would have the leader casualty, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
But it didn't explicitly say that. But I'm like,
It,
I got to kind of infer that that's what it is.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that takes care of that for me. I don't have anything else. That was my big, exciting swing and miss. So now I
It's
guess,
tough to get people out of built up terrain without leadership modifiers. And 1 is, well, it's what you got, but
yeah,
it's not really high.
yeah. Well, you you can only do what you can do. So
Right.
cool. All right. It's over. Back to the bag. You want to go ahead and
Okay.
grab one?
Yeah, let me grab one. I got another Russian for you.
All right. So I think that would be my 3rd in a row.
Okay.
So I can do something with this, but then after that, the next one's got to be a French one
Or a fire.
or a fire. Yep. So I don't know that there's anything exciting I want to do. Is there anything I can do with Essen? Well, I could try to attack. But I'd only be able to attack from 1 hex. That's not very good.
Well, Essen could make a mess and get up on the road and stop my next division from coming to my assault.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that he could do. Or I could try to bring down Sumarov and get him into some sort of position where he could be helpful.
You want him anyway, so.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm gonna activate him, and he's the 4th division. So try to get him down the road a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those guys are the guns. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets him there. And then the guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because it's half movement on the road for the guns. So, hey, we're a little closer. Okay.
Inch by inch.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Want to pull one?
Yep. Let's grab another one. Here we go. Oh, it's a Russian one. We can't use that. Hey, it's a blue one. Okay. So it's a one for the French.
All right. So what am I going to do with it? this is a bit annoying that you've got my dragoons bottled up here in Freiheit. So I think that I can move 1 hex. And so I'm going to move the 1 hex with these guys. So let's get them into the dragoons. That's the second dragoons. Yeah, second dragoon.
Yes,
Second
that's
dragoons, first
Grouchy.
activation. Grouchy. So this guy here, I want to move him right there. I think I can move 1 hex.
Yeah, but he'd have to stop as soon as he moves there. Yeah.
Stops when he gets there.
Yeah.
But he can change his rotation because he can do that next to another unit.
Yep. And I can't reaction
his...
charge because I'm tired.
Right, right. That's a little ambiguous here too, because it tells you can and you can't in the 1.5 rules, which is a
you can or you can't.
It tells you both. So I read it this evening. So I will try and find that and post that to them. They can pick one or the other.
Huh.
Okay,
yeah, that's odd because I remember, at least in the 1.4 rules that we were using, you couldn't do that reaction if you were tired. I don't know where they moved it. It used to be over there by the assaults.
Yeah,
reaction
I remember
charges.
it distinctly. I remember it distinctly.
Okay, so any unit that moves into the front hex of an enemy cavalry unit provokes a possible reaction charge if that cavalry unit is not tired. So this is under 23.4, cavalry reaction
That tells you
charges.
specifically that tired cavalry can't.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the only place where I see it
I want to go with
talking
that
about a
until I
cavalry
find
reaction charge. Yeah.
I want to go with that until I find different. My brain is not such that I can remember where I saw it. Okay. So that's right. So that went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then this guy can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. All right. So that's it for me. And I would like to assault from here to here and here to here. I'd like to charge.
Okay. Cool.
I don't think you have an opportunity to reaction charge.
No, I would have had to have done that at the beginning. Yeah.
Right. And we don't have any defensive fire on that. So it comes out 19-5, which is 4-1.
Okay.
Because we round up from the half.
Okay. So it looks like there's a -4 on the die roll, if I'm looking at that correctly, for 4-1.
That's on the new chart.
Yep, on the new chart.
Yep.
I'm Russian,
So,
so there's a +1. So now it's just a -3. I'm not being charged through the flank or the rear.
You are getting charged by more than 1 hex.
Yep. So that's back to another -1. So we're back to -4.
And we do not. And then we go to charging units, I think, now, unless you can find anything else.
No.
Okay. So I've got square heavy cavalry. It's not heavy cavalry.
No.
Charging uphill, downhill. This would be nice if they were all going the same way, uphill or downhill, but because they're not, you can't use the downhill modifier unless all units are going downhill.
Right.
Okay, and then I have a leader, so it is -2. So it's a -6.
Yep. So I'm guaranteed to get squashed. Unless you roll a 12, in which case maybe Grouchy will die. Oh, you rolled a 12. So even then, with a -6, I'm going to fail and have to take a loss and retreat. And I
But
go back 3. 1, 2, 3, I guess, that way towards my route of
half rounded up, so I think it's actually a fourth.
4. Okay.
Now I've got to figure out how to do leader loss
So you just
because it's
roll
coming
1
forward.
die, and if it's a 4, 5, or 6, he is a casualty. Okay, so he's
All right.
safe.
All right. And then I'm going to take the hex.
And then your
And
guys
that
are
is it for my
tired.
move. Oh, right. Both of them are. Yes, you're right.
And I think we did that incorrectly with this unit that was over here that I attacked, that we flipped over, because it's only when you're attacking that you're tired. If you're defending, you're not
You don't get
made
tired.
tired. So this guy here, we
Thank
can
you.
flip him back.
Good call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, somebody, I think Ivan, or I can't remember. I think
Igor?
that's, Igor had posted a bunch of
Yeah.
comments after our last game session, and he made that comment about that. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that. So,
Yeah, he's going through the rules right now, and he's got one of these minds like a sponge. I mean, he just picks up everything.
okay. So
he's
now I need to roll for this guy to see if he sticks around, right? Because I was displaced.
after the retreat's taken place.
Yep.
You're good.
Yep. So I have to roll. I rolled a 6, and so I should be fine, right? A stand check. I'm Russian. I get a +1.
Right.
And the guy moved
Adjacent
away as
retreat, it's a
Jason retreated
-1.
-1. So that breaks even.
And now the enemy cavalry within 3 hexes does not apply unless you are artillery or infantry.
Infantry, yeah, yeah. I'm glad they
Which has
clarified that, because before it was like, oh, just because your cavalry is going to be scared of other cavalry. So okay, so I guess I stand. So that takes care of that.
Yep.
Cool. So now we go back to the bag and see what kind of excitement we find. You can go ahead and pull a cube.
Oh, I can if I can get my cursor over there. I've got a little 1%er problem with multiple monitors. My cursor doesn't go where I expect.
Yep.
All right, so this is the second in a row.
Yep.
Okay, let me just I'm not gonna move this, but I'm gonna point out that if I activate this units now, a second activation, then this guy here is gonna automatically get a chance to square the because he's at 4. So whenever they activate, you get a chance if you're at 4.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to roll. Yeah. So let's just get back to where I wanted to be. That is not going to work, and that's not going to work. Oh, you've got me in a bit of a pickle here. All right, we're going to take this and drop it on the 4th Corps Cavalry. Where's the 4th Corps Cavalry?
That's
already had
Saint
one.
Joseph. Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy is going here. Yep.
And is
Second
that their first
activation.
activation or their second? Okay.
This is their second activation.
Okay. Cool.
And what I generally do is, since I've been playing a lot of email games, is I've been putting uh, the note here in the log. And for me, that's something I can always just glance at right now. So I
Right.
just stuck that in there. Yeah. Just to keep it all clean. All right. Gonna start with this guy, and he flips over to. Oops, wait, I was wrong. He was already in move. That's good. That's where I wanted him to be. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So where was he at?
Let me go back. Let me turn on the movement trails, actually. Where are my movement trails? There we go.
So he's out of command, right? Because your leader's over here.
Very much so. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. I always forget that. Dang it.
So,
Okay, so let me get that.
he's out of command. Let's see. This guy's out of
Oh,
command.
yeah. What?
Yeah.
Well, we can do this. We can go
Just,
command range. Right. So we can see that that guy was here. So he's out of command.
yep.
So he can still move. He just has to move into command.
Yep.
Right. Same with this guy. He has to move into command.
Right. He has to move, yeah, to get closer. I mean, but you wouldn't, I mean, it would be really gamey if you said, oh, well, if I move him here, he's in command, right? If
Yeah,
the
it
idea
would
is
be.
that the idea is you got to move him towards the leader. I think that's what it says in the rules, as opposed to moving to get him back into command.
Yeah, I'm sure that's correct. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's correct. So I'm gonna turn off the movement track. Marcus, good. Okay, so I can still attack this guy. I just got to make sure how I do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right. I'm going to, when this guy moves up,
Okay.
do a reaction charge.
Excellent.
Because I can.
Indeed.
So let's see. So there's no fire, so we just go straight to the odds. So it's a 1-to-1, so there's no odds for that.
Right.
I don't see anything on the attacking one. I don't think so. The only thing is that it's a short charge, so it's a +2. Is there anything else?
No, there would be leader benefits if there were leaders, and there would be heavy cavalry if there were, and it's not for either
Right.
one. So that's more or less it. You're not charging uphill. Nope, it's all
Okay.
straight, and you're not tired.
All right.
So it's
So
just a
there's just a
-2.
+2. Not a
Plus
-2,
two.
but a +2. Yeah, so I want to
+2.
roll low. Yeah. A 3. That
Oh, you
becomes
did
a
it.
5. So,
I lose another SP.
and you got to retreat.
5.
And then what? I guess I occupy the hex.
You can occupy the hex, as far as I know. Yes, you can.
Okay. Now, am I then marked as tired because
You
I
should be.
attacked? Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. Okay.
Okay. Now I am going to attack there. So I'm going to. That's again just figure it out. It's a straight up 1-to-1 without the -2 for the or the +2 for the short charge.
Well, but you still have more movement you could do, right? You've got these guys here who haven't moved.
Well, I already declared the assault. I guess I could move
No,
those
you
as
didn't
well.
declare the assault. You moved.
Oh,
You
okay.
moved. Yeah, you moved that guy up, and then
Because you have to take your
I
reaction
did
when you
my
have.
reaction charge, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You're
Yeah.
right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, 5. Same on both of them, and that's the -1 for my movement, right? -2 for
Right.
movement. So that would be 6, and I was under 6, so I'm good. Okay. So I'm going to declare those assaults, but let me finish my movement and get these guys
Yeah,
back into
yeah.
control. 1, 2, 3, 4, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to leave that there. This guy just moved out. So I've got more cavalry here. What do I want to do with that? I probably want to leave that there. And then I want to move St. Joseph up 1, 2. I'm just going to move this guy back here because I don't want you coming out of the town. Not that you could. That's my plug in the
There you
plug in the
go.
bottle.
There you go.
Right, and I think that's all my units.
Okay.
And I really need to move. St. Joseph should have moved last, by the way, of the new rules. And he moved
Yes.
2. So I'm actually going to move him down 1 to just bring him.
Yeah, so you get most
That's
everybody in.
better.
Yeah, yeah. That way you get everybody in command.
Happily. Okay, good. So that's that, and I'm going to turn off his command radius.
But I like that feature. That's a nice feature.
Thank you. That was actually one of the ones that I kind of pushed for.
Cool.
I find it very difficult to know what's in control and not, and I don't like the OOC markers every place in Levitai. So
Right.
this seemed like a way to see it.
Yes. Well, and this is a little bit more, you're only moving the one division and you generally have fewer units in the formation, so it's a little bit easier to grasp. Well, let's see.
Right.
You've got 14, you've got 23 to 8. So, and I guess what we round up, so that's going to be a 3 to 1. So we're at a -3. I'm a Russian, so that's a +1. So we're at a -2. I'm being charged for more than 1 hex, so that's a -1. So we're back up to a -3. I don't see anything else there for the defending unit. The attacking units. Is there anything there?
Nope. Because
Okay.
I'm not short distance, and I'm not tired,
Yep.
and I
So it's
don't
just
have a leadership.
yep. So it's just a simple -3 from the looks of it.
I think it is.
Yep. Roll another boxcar. Oh, not good enough. An
Well, no,
8.
well, it's an 8 minus 3.
Yep.
So
So that
that's
becomes a 5. So that's
yeah.
going to
So
be
that's
a
below 7.
loss.
That's
Yep.
good.
Yep. So they're going to lose, at least they'll lose 1, right? And they're going to lose another one because they have to go through either this hex or this hex to escape,
Yeah,
right?
this is where the retreat thing comes up. You have to move further away from the units. So you're actually forced, I think, in this case, to go here. Because if you
Oh,
move
yeah,
here,
yeah.
you're staying within 1 hex of one of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
encounters.
So I would go there. So he's going to take another loss.
Right.
And then
And
he'll
now
end
your
up
main
right
thing is
there.
to move.
But now I'm
Yeah,
adjacent to that guy, so I got to move 1 more back.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to move this. You got to take half of your movement. So your movement was 8. So you got to go 4. So it's 1, 2,
No, my
3.
movement's not 8. My movement's 6.
Because you're tired.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
only so it's 1, 2, 3, but I can't end adjacent to that. I mean, so the other idea is that I move here and push this guy back. That's an option, I guess.
Well, you're already moving through adjacent to me, so you probably ought to take an extra strength point, but don't worry about that. I like where you've retreated. I think that's the right place to put them.
Well, so but if I'm going back 3, this would be where I would, and I push that guy back.
But in that case, you're going 1, 2. Here you're going the same distance that you were from this unit, and you're actually not increasing from this unit. I think that that's the one place you really do have to move is here.
Okay. So then do I
Right?
do
Because
I
that's the only one that increases.
yeah. So let's
Take the
see what
yellow,
it
go to the next one.
says.
That's the
It's
right
got
way to
some
do
sort
it.
of priority thing, right?
Yeah. And the first priority is to to increase the space between you and your enemy.
Right. Between you and the assaulting units, do not retreat into any hex occupied by friendly unless there's no other eligible path, in which case the friendly unit must also retreat. You must not retreat into any hex that brings the retreating unit closer to an enemy in its line of sight unless there's no other eligible paths. The direction of a retreat is generally according to the compass of the map. Okay. If unit can't avoid moving adjacent to enemy occupied hex, it loses each time it retreats adjacent to an enemy unit. So it must increase the distance between it and the assaulting enemy units.
So
Right?
that means,
Yeah. So I would have to, right. So I've got these three. So basically this
right.
one here. And so when I move here, I'm 1 hex away, 2 hexes away. Well, if I go here, I'd be 3 hexes away. I don't know.
Yeah, you can push him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. See why I said it was a little bit, it wasn't totally cleared up,
Right.
but at least it's better than it was.
Yes. Yes. That is for sure. Okay. Cool. So
Okay,
then those
so
3 guys are going to be tired.
tired. There we go.
Okay. All right. And so we go back to the bag of goodies.
The bag of goodies must be a Russian or a fire. Fire.
Oh, it's the fire phase. Exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm just going to move that down below because we want to keep those here because I think there's 2 fires in this bag. I could be wrong.
Nope, there's only
Maybe it's just
one.
one in this
Yeah, in this
one.
scenario, there's only one. Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. So for fires, that's going to be adjacent infantry, cavalry, whatever. Did you? This guy is adjacent. I guess you could retreat because he's adjacent.
In defensive fire, I could retreat because of
No,
his
no, not
adjacent.
not defensive fire. I thought it was the case that during the fire chit,
Evade. I think it's
cavalry. So I mean,
retire
you
or
can
evade.
yeah, they can evade.
Okay. Looking it up in Notebook LM. The
and
Oracle.
and we can change facing of units as well.
Cavalry units may evade by retreating 1 hex. An adjacent hex is at the beginning of a simultaneous fire segment. If an infantry, yes, I can do that. Evasion does not trigger reaction fire because it's already in fire. An evading cavalry unit doesn't change its facing. Evasion is not a form of retreat, and it's not tired. Evasion is not allowed if any units block the movement. So that can go back. You're right.
Yeah, and that's the only one that fits that one. Everybody else is infantry. And then these guns here can pivot at during the fire phase.
Right.
And I don't know that I need to pivot anybody else. I think everybody else is within exciting shooting distance. But I did get the general impression that unless it's basically either a stack or it's individual stuff that's shooting. So I couldn't have this guy and these guys combined. This guy would shoot his 2 factors, and then these guys would
And
shoot
then
their
the
4
next one.
factors exactly like that. So
Hold on just one quick second.
sure.
I'm just checking on this occasions for defensive fire. Defending unit, the defender may change its facing by 60 degrees. That's not a defender. Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Oh, okay. So I actually I pivoted them one more. Whoops, wrong
I,
guys. They were
I
facing,
think you put them 60.
yeah,
Yeah.
they would, that's 60 from where they were facing before. So I still
And
have a
they
shot on your
can,
cavalry.
yeah, same
Yeah.
shot. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so I think we're good to go. That's the northernmost fire because this is all cavalry. You want to fire the infantry, or you want to fire your artillery, or do you want to fire your reserve artillery?
I'll have the reserve artillery fire down here. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes distance. Um, at 4 hexes, it's times 1. I've got uh, 8 factors there. And I've only got a shot on that one guy. Oh, I guess I could put some people up here on Grouchy on the hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay. Um, what do I want to do? How do I want to split that? So I'm going to get a +1 for it being heavy cavalry. There doesn't seem to be any other. Um, well, it says artillery is firing on column on square. That must be just attacking infantry, right?
That's just infantry as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I think that you end up with a +1, and you could end up with an 8+1, or you could end up with two 4+1s.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the table, 6 to 8 is a hit on an 8 or more, and a 4 is a hit on a 9 or more. So they're actually pretty close.
Yeah.
So if it were my gamey side, I would say fire twice at 4, one at each, but it's up to you.
Yeah. We'll try. We'll try twice at 4. So what the heck? And we're gonna fire. Um, we'll fire the first one on Grouchy and the second one on the guy just down 1 hex south of him. So here's the one on Grouchy, and that's a miss. And the next chap, oh, that's a big one.
Oh,
That's going to be 13. That's
13.
2
That's
hits and a
two.
morale check.
2 hits and a morale check. Okay, and so then let's figure out the stand check. The stand check is on the other sheet.
So they're not elite. Um,
Nope,
they're not
they're not
obstructed.
rushing.
No
They're
leader
not chasing
present. Yeah.
anything.
So it's just a regular, you're just trying to roll anything a 6 or better.
Yeah, 6 or better. No modifiers.
Okay. So they passed.
Too close.
All right. Then we'll have this guy fire there. And so he can fire 2. But you're in obstructed terrain, so that's a -2. So I don't think I can even hit you, right? Yeah, because I'd be
I
on the
don't
2
think you can.
chart. Yeah, so even if I roll the boxcar, it's going to be a 10, so that's nothing. So I've got these guns though, and this guy can't hit him, and this guy can't hit them, so he can't do anything, right? Because he's in the same
Well, he can. Fi-
position.
he's in general order, so he can fire just like a square. So you can fire a point on each or 2 on one.
I know, but with the modifiers, he can't actually hit anything, right?
Um,
Because
well,
he's
here I
got a
can.
-3 for
He's
shooting at the artillery. He's got a
right,
-2 for shooting there.
right.
So
Oh, you can't do anything.
yeah, he can't
You
do
can't do
anything either. Yeah, but my artillery I can fire here. So that's at point blank range. So that's going to be times 4, and I have 4 there. So that's going to be 16. So I'm on the 15 to 18 chart. There's a -2 for being obstructed terrain. Any other modifiers? I don't think so. So, okay, here we go. A 10, that's going to be an 8. That's going to be 2 hits.
Dang it. That's a good shot, Eric.
Well, I was hoping for another morale check. All right. And let's see. These guys are, they're in column. And I think with modifier, they're not going to be able to hit anything. And these guys, it's the same way. I mean, unless you can combine stuff, there's no way that that these three guys can get a hit on anybody, right?
Yeah, because it's going to be that.
It's going to be that 2 with a -2.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So then we come around over to this side, and we've got the infantry and the guns. And so I've got the infantry is in line, so that's going to be ×2. That's going to give me 6. And then the guns are going to give me 16. But I seem to recall seeing something that I've got to split it between 2 hexes.
Defensive fire.
Well, no, it's not
This is
defensive
offensive
fire.
fire.
So,
Yep.
resolution of fire combat, it says if artillery and infantry could fire at more than one target, at more than one adjacent target, the player must split its fire strength. The player can split the fire strength any way he wants, but at least
There you
must
go.
fire
I
with
thought
1
that was
SP
defensive
per.
only.
It's not. It's under resolution of
How
fire
about that?
combat. Yeah. Now, it is
Okay.
also reiterated but this is specifically for adjacent, right? And only
Mm-hmm.
in the case of artillery stacked with the other. So, so altogether we've got 22 factors. So how can we divide that? We could divide that at 11 and 11 as one possibility. Or we could do what would be 15 and 7, right? That's another possibility. Let's try that. So we'll do the fire of 15 on that. We'll have a -2 because it's obstructed terrain, but a +1 for the heavy. Well, and so now's the question, because now I'm splitting. I've got 15 factors of heavy guns going there and 1 factor of heavy guns going there. Do I get the heavy artillery bonus on both?
I think you do.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a little gamey, but I'll take it. So then it's just
Oh, I'm not sure. I think that the bonus is because, you've got large shot and, potentially more of it because you got a well-handled battery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. So, so then it's only a -1 then for that. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
That's going to be a 5. That's at least 1 hit.
1.
Yeah.
And it's not a morale check.
Not a morale check, sadly. All right. And then the other one is on the 6 through 8 chart. And let's see what we get there. And that's going to be a 6, so that's going to be a miss. Okay. Well, at least we chipped off 1.
Yeah, you're doing okay.
All right. Now, this guy and this guy, they might be able to shoot there, right? Well, they'd
Yes,
be at
indeed.
2.
A 2 and a 2.
A 2 and a 2. Yeah, and there's no modifiers.
Nope.
So that would probably be, yeah, so you could do 2 shots over there.
4 and
those
7
are
both
misses.
miss.
Yep. Okay. And that takes
Now I
care
got
of
some artillery in.
Yep, you do have some artillery there.
So that's going to double because it's range 2. So that's 4, 8.
Yep.
And it is obstruct it. So it's an 8
with a minus
minus
2.
2.
Yep.
That's not
That's
going to
going to
do
be
it.
a miss. All right. Next in line is going to be these guys here firing, I guess, on those chaps.
Yep.
So that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4. Um, there's no modifiers that I'm aware of. So here we go. That's going to be a miss. Let's see. We've got, I guess the next artillery would be these guys here firing there. That's going to be the
Right.
same thing. We're on the 4 chart. And that's a miss. And these guys are too far away to hit anybody. And I don't know, do you have any other guns that are unlimbered?
Don't believe I do.
Yep. No, I think that's about as good as it can get. Okay. So that takes care of that. Hey, we've got William Arens from beautiful Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, saying hello. Hello, William.
Hello,
So,
William. Hello, Kitchener.
yes, William is one of our regulars who tunes
Really
in
good.
anytime he has a chance. So,
All right.
okay.
So I pulled the last cube. I got the red, so it's your turn to pull.
Okay, cool. Let's go back to the bag and grab a Russian cube. All right, what are the Ruski ducks going to do? So, we've got this. So I'm trying to figure out. You've got your cavalry coming around over there. What can I do with my infantry to try to stymie your cavalry? So if I move forward, you could reaction charge. And what are the modifiers? There'd be it's a short charge, so there would be the +2. They're not lancers. Cavalry against infantry not in square, -3. So then there'd be a -1. All right. So now I'm just trying to get a handle on how, because I know like in La Bataille, there's different ways that, you can march your infantry up and try to push the cavalry back,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a thing. I'm trying to get a sense of how that would work here. So
I
it
haven't figured it out myself, and I've tried because in one of the scenarios, Davout's attack, you have Davout's corps coming up the side, and it only has 2 cavalry units in it,
right, he's
so it
up
has to
against
push
a
back
bunch
the
of
Russian cavalry.
Bagavoo's got stuff, and there's Platov's cavalry over there, right? So
Yeah, and
except
it's
Platov's
difficult.
cavalry is a bunch of mostly rubbish Cossacks.
Well,
So
there's one really huge Hussar regiment there,
mm. Oh
which
yeah,
is
that's with
annoying.
Bagavoo's. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll give it a try. If nothing else, just to experiment.
Since you're
So,
working on charge, I just wanted to note something to you here.
yep.
Um, it said specifically during reaction charges that tired cavalry couldn't do it. But under
Yes.
17.3 in the new rule books, it says a tired cavalry unit can execute a charge and stays tired.
Right.
So
That's
that's what I was saying
different
about.
though. But so
Yeah,
that's like that's an assault, right?
that's like right now. If you were going to charge with tired cavalry, you can't.
Right. So,
You
for
can't
example,
reaction charge.
right. So, for example, if I were to activate Bagavoo again, these two guys, for example, they're tired. They could still charge. They could still
Yes.
attack. But
Yes.
that's not the same as a reaction charge.
No, it's not the same as a reaction
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah. So that's the difference. Um, okay. Well, cool. 1, 2, 3. So I couldn't move up here and then form square. I'd have to, if I was going to form square, I'd have to form square right away. So
Right.
I'm going to move 1, and then I will go ahead and change, and then 2, and then 3, and see if you want to reaction charge me.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great.
All right.
So we're at 1-to-1 odds. I do get to shoot at you, though. Defensive
You
fire.
do get to shoot at me.
So I'm going to have 2 factors. It's defensive fire, so I'll have a +1. So, yeah, so we're on the 2 chart with a +1. Here we go. A 6. That's a miss.
That's a miss.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
Well, that's okay. That happens.
Right.
All right. So now we go to the odds. It's a 1-to-1, so there's no pluses or minuses. I'm Russian, so it's +1. And then it is a short charge, so it's +2, so it's a +3. Cavalry, attacking infantry not in square, it's a -3, so we're at a 0. And you're attacking downhill. Oh, so that's a
Right.
-2. Oh, okay. Now I see why you were all excited to do that. I keep
It
forgetting
seemed like a
you
decent
get.
hit.
I keep forgetting you get the benefit for attacking downhill. We don't have that in La Bataille. We have a detriment for attacking uphill, but we don't have a benefit for attacking downhill. So that's why I'm completely forgetting. Oh yeah, the guy's uphill. Okay. Well, no
You
worries.
you have a malice.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, go ahead and do your thing. You've
So I think
got.
that came up as a net -2. Is that
Yep.
it?
Yep. -2. And so that's going to be
Yeah.
a hit on me, right?
That's a hit, but it's cavalry, so it's 2 SPs and then retreat your full
Right. So I
movement.
took 1 off of each. Should I take 1, 2 off the top?
I think 1 off of each is fine. I think with
Okay.
fire combat, it has to come off the top.
1, 2,
Maybe it's supposed to
3,
come off the top
4,
here. I don't
5,
know.
6. Okay. All right. And then you're
And I
tired.
will take that. And I'm tired.
Okay. Cool. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot to put my cube on that division. Give me a second. 4th division. Okay. All right. So that's 1 down. Dozens to go. All right. Let's see. And so it's a
On that
-1
6
off
straight
of
up, it
everybody's
didn't need the
movement.
-2 for the downhill. It was a pretty low roll, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, the 6 was good enough, even if it was even.
Yeah.
All right. Perry is chiming in. He says, "Hello, Eric. I've played this scenario several times. Always seems to end up a stalemate." Well, we've got the new rules, so it might not be a stalemate. It's potentially could be a victory for somebody. We never know.
It is a hard scenario because normally in Napoleonic games, I've always not encountered people in cities. That hasn't been the goal. It's been always, counter force. And getting people out of cities is really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, dislodging them
because
from towns.
right, once you're in, you get a -2 for being in the obstructed terrain and a -2 for the other person being in an obstructed terrain from attacking and defending. So it's hard unless you've got a leader with like a +3. It's going to be really difficult.
Right. Okay, well, let's try this. We're going to do this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, because it cost me 2 to move into an adjacent space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets him there. And let me just turn him properly. Okay, cool.
So now he's 11 and I'm 9. So I
Yep,
think that comes out as a 1-to-1
yes.
with a
So
-2.
there's no -2. It's going to
It's a
be,
-2 for a short distance charge.
yes.
Is that a +2?
No,
Oh,
it's
I'm
a
sorry.
+2 for a short distance
+2, sorry.
charge, right?
Yeah,
And I'm Russian, but I get to shoot at you first.
right.
So I'm on the 2 chart. Here we go. A 9. I don't think that's good enough. Nope, I got to get a 10 or more better. Okay. So now we go to, it's +1 for me being Russian. It's a +2 for it being a short charge, but it's a -3 for me not being in square. So it's just a straight up 0.
0.
Yep.
Yep. And let's roll.
And
8.
8. So we each take 1 loss. Oh, why did it do both? I didn't want it to do
Because you had
both.
both of them selected.
Oh,
Got to be careful about single selecting each piece if you're going to just take one off.
okay. Sorry, I hit the. There we go. All right. So that kind of worked. Now those guys are going to be tired. Oh, sorry. I hit the flip button as well since I had yours there. So now I'd love to come up and attack them again, but they can still evade me, right?
I thought evade was just defensive fire.
Well,
Let me
that
find.
is the question.
Well, I've
So
got
so my thinking is,
looking at
okay, you're tired now. I mean, I know in La Bataille, tired, or well, you would be exhausted cavalry, right? Can't retreat from combat. So the idea is I'm tiring you out, and then I can
so
come
that I
up and
can't go
catch you,
anywhere.
right? But that's what I have to figure out here.
Oh, well, could have done that too. Cavalry can also evade if an enemy infantry unit moves adjacent or if the opposing player declares a charge with an infantry unit.
Yep. So it looks
That's how
like
it works.
there's no way infantry can do anything to the cavalry.
Unless the cavalry wants it to. Which
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. I mean, the cavalry is more mobile. It should be able to
Yeah.
pick and
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we messed around with that for what little it's worth. Um, all right. So now what do I do with the rest of that division? If I moved up here and I tried to assault that guy, he just moved back. So that's not going to do me any good. I can't, I can't do anything else to speak of with anybody. Oh, fiddlesticks.
Well, I debate your fiddlesticks.
Okay.
Right now, you've got this is your second activation with this division, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, you can start getting units into the outskirts of Eylau right now.
I could, but what good does that do me?
Well, if something gets pushed back, you'll have something else to fill the spot.
Yeah, but if something gets pushed back, they're going to push back the units
Yeah,
that are
you don't want
there.
to pack it. You
Yeah,
could
yeah,
get
yeah,
close and
yeah,
then move, here or here, here or here. You know how it works. You're not doing a checkerboard per se, but you're allowing a lot of room for people to move out.
yeah. I think a better way of approaching it would be try to get these guys over here where they could, if I were able to get two back-to-back activations, these guys could move back, and then
Hmm.
those guys could then move in and try to do something exciting.
Good call.
Otherwise, yeah, otherwise moving them here, if I get hit, if these guys get smashed, then then they're just going to push these guys out of the town, right, as they retreat away.
Right, if you move the guys into the town, but if you leave a space, right, one of these hexes,
Yeah,
and then these guys get pushed out because they're going to get pushed out their full movement. So that's going to be somewhere back to here
right.
or here. So now you've got, a big gap here with something that can move into it. As of now, if you move your units off here, that's going to be fine. If you leave them here, they're not going to make it in if those guys get knocked out. Does that make sense? If these guys get knocked out, then you've got a problem. But I like your thought about moving up here, moving this guy out, moving one of these fresh divisions in and pushing in, or one of these fresh brigades
Yeah,
or regiments,
yeah.
actually.
Well, it's,
I like it. I think it's good.
yeah. I can get this guy here, and let's see. I'm just going
You
to leave
also have
the
a
leader
leader, and
there.
if you get that leader into the melee, that's going to help getting into the buildings.
Potentially, he's not much better than Bagavoo as far as leadership goes.
He's no better. He's the same.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
identical.
yeah. So, what can we do? The guns have got a minus. Um, yeah, these guns are almost worthless in this particular situation, but we can roll them forward, and let's go ahead and flip them and change their facing. Whoops. Which way are they facing now? One of them's facing one way, one of them's facing the other way.
It's how you protect all sides.
Yeah, although I seem to recall the rules prevented you from
Yeah,
doing that.
the rules, yeah. Come on. Oh,
Rules, schmools. All right, let's see.
do you think
One,
Napoleon read the
two,
rule book?
3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'll have this guy go here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to get over there. All right. And then this guy. Is this an objective for anybody? This little windmill
No,
thing?
it's not. Not in this
Okay.
game, or not in this scenario.
Okay. All right. Well,
This scenario is not even about Freiheit. It's about the town of Eylau and the cemetery.
okay. Oh, the cemetery is an objective? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's part of that.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to double check what I just said.
All right. Where's the little command? That's the setup button. Command range. Cool. Everybody's in command range.
This mouse is slow. Hold on here. Hold on here. I lied. It's Preußisch Eylau only.
Oh, okay.
It's just those 13 hexes.
Okay.
And it's the majority of the hexes that you have to win.
Ah, all right. Good to know. Okay. So that is about as good as I can do.
Okay.
I will turn off the command range button. All right. So,
All right.
I guess we go back to the bag.
We do. How much is left?
It's another Russian one. Well,
Oh, okay.
I guess we could, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think all of Bagavoo's people are in command. I don't know what we'd want to do with any of them, given how the situation is at the moment. Hmm. What can we do? What can we do? I was sad to see that you cannot combine infantry and artillery attacking. I mean, infantry and cavalry attacking. I was like, oh, that would have
Yeah,
been
that
so
would make one of those
nice.
classic things, wouldn't it?
So, well, let's see. I could do Bagavoo for a second or for his third activation. I could move Essen. Let's see what's going to make the most sense. Well, I guess I could try. Yeah, I could try attacking you another time there and see if I can't push you out. So, yep, we will try. We'll activate Bagavoo and see if we can't have some success, potential success. I think that's going to be, yeah, it's our last cube anyway. So we can either move Essen, but he's not really, I don't know that he can accomplish much for where he's stacked at. 6. And I have 1-to-1 odds. Right, so I'm not going to get any pluses. I'd have a -2 for the obstructed terrain. So, oh, maybe. Okay, I think I will activate Essen after all. So let me move the chip. Essen, I think, was 8th Division. Okay, cool. So, that's 5, that's 6. Okay. So this guy is going to go into column. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets him there. And then this guy is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets him there. Yes, Perry, we are playing with the new rules 1.5, or at least we're pretending to. Whether we really are is anybody's guess, but we're at least
We both slept at a Holiday Inn last night, so we're experts.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
God, I'm old. I don't think that commercial has been on the air in like 30 years.
All right. And infantry cannot move over cavalry, correct?
No,
Yeah, that's what I
can't.
thought.
They can never be in the same hex.
Okay. All right, we'll shift
Eric, you
that.
keep coming back. You're supposed to fall over and play dead. What's wrong with you?
I keep coming back what?
And pushing me when I've got a nice lodgement in the town. You're starting to push my lodgement.
That's what I do. It's my job. It's what I've got to do if I want to try to have a hope of being successful out here.
A quick riposte or don't attack at all, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Well, we're gonna throw S and N. We're gonna try to make this. It's an all or nothing. Emphasis on the all or nothing part. We'll see what our die roll is. Okay.
Essen's going to eat them up.
Yeah, we'll see. So we've got Mr. Essen is leading an attack there on that guy.
All right.
So we've got I've got 9 to your 8. Well, so you get your shot. So you're at 2, and you'll have a plus.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's no good. Um, so now we look at the odds. So it's 1 to 1. So that's a 0. You're in obstructed terrain. So it's a +2 on the die roll. I'm elite. I have an elite unit there. So it's a -1. And then I have S in there. So that's a -3. So altogether, it's a -1 on the roll, if I'm looking at that correctly.
You are. And you do have a musketeer grenadiers, Moscow grenadiers.
Yeah. That's why they're elite. So that's why
Yes.
I get that extra -1. So it should be a -3 altogether on my side, but you've got a +2 by virtue of being in the terrain. So it's a -1 altogether. All right. So here
Right.
we go. Let's roll low. A 6. That's going to be
That'll
low
do
enough.
it.
That's going to be a 5. So they are going to
Take a loss.
take a loss, and they'll take another loss. They got to go that way past those guys.
Right. I was just going to think about that one. I have to go there. So that one's another loss. Okay. Now I can go up here.
And now people are going to get pushed around, I guess. Well, you come out of line and you go into column. Was that what happens when you come out?
No, I guess no. In retreat, you hold the same thing. It's when you but what came out of obstructed. So
yeah, so that's why I was curious about. Yeah, because I know that's what we've done before, but I can't remember if there's anything specific about that.
Okay, so now I've got, if I need to increase the distance between the units melee. Okay, so I can move here because this guy didn't melee, didn't assault, so I'm okay there.
Yep.
So now I got to push aside, and I can push this one. And I can go back 1. So that's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Cool.
All right, that's it.
Okay. All right. And then we can move in.
Indeed.
And, and we will, we'll leave S in there. What the heck? So now you need to make rolls, I guess, for standing.
I do, here and here.
Okay. So which one do you want to do first?
Check the stand. Stand leader present. So I'm going to do the leaders first.
Okay.
So it's not elite, it's not Russian. 1 enemy unit or friendly unit retreats. So that's a -1. I'm in obstructed terrain. That's +1.
Right. So we're at 0.
I'm not in a square, and there's no cavalry within 3 hexes. Because I'm in obstructed terrain,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the new 1.5.
Yep.
And
Which is
then leader
nice.
present is 2.
2.
So
Yep.
I'm looking at a +2.
Yep. Ooh, a
Holy
5.
cow. All right. That's
Yay,
great.
that's what I was hoping for.
Dang it.
So
Okay.
that's going to
Well,
be really painful.
so the first thing is I got to take my loss. And
Yeah.
it's not cavalry, so it's 1 SP.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to retreat, but I can't retreat. So I've got to push something back.
Yep.
So that'll push back. Okay, and then I retreat 1.
Yep.
Now I'm still in the adjacent, so now I lose another support point.
Yep.
And I need to push again. And I'm going to lose another support point or stacking point.
Yep.
And then I can push again and move there. Now that's 1, 2, 3, and I need to change him over to 6. So I've gone 3.
So
So I
he's
can
down to
push him
1
again.
increment is what he should be at this point, right?
He's at 2, isn't he?
He's at 2 now,
Oh,
but
he's
shouldn't he
4.
be at 1?
Well, that's the thing. I lost 1 here.
Yep.
I lost 1 here.
Yep.
I lost 1 here. So I lost 3.
Yep. And you had 5. So, okay, so
And,
it's 3. So yeah, 2 makes sense.
right. I think that's right. I think that's right.
Well, so is it, so when you retreat next to them, so you lost 1 immediately. You
Right.
retreated there, you lost another 1. You
Right.
retreated there. Okay. Yeah. So it is 3.
Okay. So I need to move him again. And then he needs to move. So that's his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's his full movement.
Okay.
Brilliant. You threw back the whole division.
Woof.
Save 1 unit.
Yep. Well, that's what happens when you get lucky.
Yeah. Well handled.
Now the question is the guys that were here that got pushed back, do they make a stand check, or because they got pushed back, they don't have to make a stand check? Because they were
That's
adjacent
not
to the
covered.
guys that.
I think they need to make the stand check, but I don't know what it's going to do except to get them to the same place.
Okay. Yeah,
You do the
that's
retreat first.
yeah, and so that's why I was curious how that worked, because it looked like, as we saw in the rules, the retreat goes, so you do the stand check, then you would do the retreat, and then, but so in this case that guy got pushed out. Yes, Perry, we're playing with rules 1.5. I don't know if
So
that's
I
a new
guess my
question or not.
question is, let's say that I got pushed back to get this guy the retreat path. And then
Right.
I roll the check while he was here. He fails the stand check, so he's retreating. He goes here. Does he lose 1 from being in that
Yeah,
adjacent?
and that's why I'm saying it's, so if we think about it from the point of view of the narrative of the battle, they see Legrand's guys break and run, and they're running through them, and so then they push back as well. So they didn't.
Have to get out of the way.
Yeah, so it's more a case where they got out of the way as opposed to like breaking and running, if you want to think of it. I mean, for all intents and purposes, yes, the whole division just got thrown back, right?
Yeah.
So but if it weren't the case that they'd have to, if they hadn't had to retreat through that guy, then that guy would have then made a stand check at some point, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
Right.
All right.
So this is where I actually really like the Tactique Napoleon rules, because they're so focused on brigade integrity and divisional integrity that if I lost this much of a brigade, I'd lose the rest of it.
Yeah, and that's what was curious because Igor, right? It's Igor. He
Right.
sent
Igor.
me, yeah, he sent me some pictures of uh, the 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 counters that he's making for Moscow, for the I guess Napoleonic tactics, but you're basically using the Labatai, the Moscow map. And so he
Yeah,
sent
you
me
have
some
to
pictures
own
of the
a
stuff,
lava
and I'm
tie to
just
play
like,
it.
well, why are you, why do you care about brigades? Because he's got like little playing suits, like clubs and diamonds and whatever else. I'm like, why do you care about
Yeah.
brigades? But I guess with Napoleon tactiques, or tactiques Napoleon, the the brigade, if the brigade gets beaten up, then it will affect the morale level of the rest of the brigade. While
Exactly.
usually with La Bataille, it's corps level or maybe division level, but not brigade level. So I think
Right.
that's
And
a level of focus that, so then it makes sense that you'd have to have some indication so you know how badly the brigade is doing.
yeah, not to distract and to go off the tracks too far, but in Shevardino, as Russian, I really nailed two French battalions, skirmishers, and they shattered. And then all of a sudden, the rest of the brigade had to pull back too. And so now it has to get pretty much rallied before it can come back and do anything. So that whole brigade is off, well, it's not off map, but it's out of combat now,
Right.
which
No,
is kind of
that's kind
interesting.
of interesting. Yeah, it's just a different level of focus,
Yes,
with how they're
there are
doing it.
so many different ways to focus on things in Napoleonic tactics and strategy. It's just super interesting to see how people handle different kinds of situations.
Yeah. No. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
really cool.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
that
so
was my little cube. So I guess we go
okay,
back to the bag, and there's just one left, and that's got to be a
and it's
French one.
blue. All right. Well,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool.
I've got a problem because what I really want to do is I want to move this division out, the Fourth Division Cavalry, and I want to move these in the place. But with one cube, I'm going to get to choose one or the other. So
Yeah, that's why I wasn't so sad when you moved that cavalry there. I'm like, wow, that's going to block the road, so he's
yeah,
not going to be able to move his guys up right away.
come to think of it, I didn't hear any tears.
No, no. I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have here.
Well, that's always the trick, isn't it?
I will hit the moved button to clear the deck.
All right, I'm going to, I just got to decide here. I'm going to get that cavalry out of the way. Fourth Corps Cavalry. There we go. Oops. Don't want to draw the fire cube. Want to do that one. All right. So now I have -4 points cavalry movement. And the Fourth Corps Cavalry is done. So I'm going to go. I'm going to get rid of the smoke markers too. Okay, so I'm going to go. Going to move these guys on one. And he started out of command, so he has to go towards. So he's got. There he goes.
No, he was in command, I thought.
No,
Wasn't
he wasn't.
wasn't
Mm-mm.
wasn't Saint Joseph here? So
Oh,
one,
oh, oh, oh,
two,
oh, oh,
three,
you're right.
four. Yeah, he was in command.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay, so I'm good. That's still where I want him to go. I want to get him out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just spin him around. And that is it for the end of my turn.
Right, and that ends the whole overall turn as well.
And we're actually at 2 hours in. This is a good place to stop
Yep. Yep. I
if
need to
that's
go
good with
eat
you.
dinner. So we would
Okay,
advance
so
the clock to, I guess it's the 6 o'clock turn.
advance
So
to
this is the
6.
last turn of the scenario.
Doesn't it go to
And
7?
I don't know unless they changed it.
Oh, I can
I
find
thought
out.
it was
Got it open.
I thought it was the end of the 6 o'clock turn. I didn't think it went on to the 7 o'clock turn. But I'm looking at the scenario, the booklet that came here with the. It
Go,
says at
go,
the
go
end of
with
the
that.
6 p.m. turn.
Dang it. All right. Well, I'm host. This has been a really good game, but
Yeah.
let's finish it out. I'm going to.
We could either play it again, or play another turn and see if you're able to. But if it's a case where you have to have the majority of
There's no
the
way.
hexes, it's going to be very challenging for you to do that. Because right now
Yeah.
I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11, 12, and this one is open and this one's occupied. So you'd have to get 8 hexes of the 14 to have the majority.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So
Well, I'll tell you, I'm having fun playing you. I want to keep doing it.
yeah, I wanted to keep
But
doing it too. But and so
what
maybe
about
there's another
what about
scenario
starting
we
a new
can mess
scenario?
around with.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and there's enough small little scenarios that we can do something.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one in line is Marat's Cavalry Massive Charge. And then the one after that is Davu's attack on the flank.
Okay,
And then Lestalk saves the day.
okay. Which ones have you played?
I've played each of them once, and this one like 19 times. Because everybody knew we always start with this one,
Right.
right? Um, I'm currently playing the full battle, and I've committed my entire right flank to coming up where Davu's coming. So it's an interesting situation for me. But the grand battle, the full scenario, has a different setup than Davu's attack. Um, I would be happy with anything. Why don't you pick? I'm happy to do anything.
I'd like to try the one with Davu's attack. That might be fun to
Let's do it.
try. Yeah, and I
And what
can.
side would you like?
I played the Russians here. I'd like to see how things are with the French.
I think that's a great idea.
Unless you want to play the French again.
No, no, no. I'm happy switching around. This is
Okay.
good.
Well, cool.
All
Well,
right.
I'm going to go ahead and
So
save this just in case we decide we want to revisit it for some reason.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad we got to play with the 1.5 rules. I think that there's enough clarification to really make it a big step up from 1.4. I think the game is playable. I surely enjoy it.
Yes, yes.
So,
And what I'll do is I'm going to see if I can put together some sort of player aid type of thing that we
good
can
idea.
then use. So we have as you said, a cheat sheet of sorts, but one that's more comprehensive than just the recent changes to the rules. One that sort of is all encompassing. So I'm going to kind of go through and parse through it and see what I can tease out of it and put together something like what I've done with the Labatai sequence of play cards, and see how that works.
I am
And
going to try to do a retreat flow chart or something.
oh yeah, that would be
Because
good too. Yeah,
yeah. So I will put that out and like get some comment on it before I make it unofficial
yeah.
because I'm not official.
Perry, yes, the rules for 1.5 are available. And so if you go to the Sound of Drums site, you should be able to find a link to it. Or if you're on their Facebook page, they have a pinned comment that's got a link to the 1.5 rules.
Just for fun,
And
I'm going to post the link here in the comments as well. So just give me a second.
oh, the comments on the video?
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. That'll work too. So Perry, there should be the link to 1.5 rules here on the comments for this YouTube video. So, well, cool. This has been really good. I'm enjoying it. It's, as I said, it's slightly different flavor than Labatai. It's certainly a lot easier. The only odds we have to worry about are, you know,
Yeah.
1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, as opposed to, okay, this fire value is I've got, 30, 31, versus your 11 or 7 or whatever. And we've got to do a lot of math in our head like we do with Labatai, which I don't mind doing. It's probably what keeps me
That
from.
also is one of the differences between Tactiques Napoleon, because they don't have all the chart on the back.
Hmm.
You take the stacking points, and then it has a coefficient based on the quality of the infantry to get your firepower and your melee value, your assault
Right,
value. So you work right off the top, and instead of taking, well, I have 8 out of 11 left, and then I have to figure it out from
right.
the
Yeah,
the result. Now I say, oh, I've got 8 times 2.5, or
right,
8 times 3, or 8 times 1.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's just, again, another take on it.
yeah.
So many takes. And I haven't even seen the New England simulations one.
Yeah, no, I've seen it at Consim because Mark Hinkle brought it for a number of years while he was playtesting it and developing it and everything else. So I mean, it's a beautiful game, but it was the sort of thing when I was looking at, I've got all these games and I've got, there's other games out there and there's new games that are coming out. I just had another publisher send me a game to take a look at. I'm just like, okay, I only have a limited capacity for what I'm going to play and what I'm going to do.
I know it.
So I made a conscious choice not to get the winner's victory because I figured, okay, it's a beautiful game, but I'm in all likelihood I'm never going to play it. Um,
I'm thinking about finding the Hexasim version of Eylau and getting the Clash of Arms Eylau
well,
and the New England
There's a new
simulations
Clash of
Eylau.
Arms Eylau that's going to be coming out. I'm helping Ed Wimble with the playtesting,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so that's
As
going
far
on
as I
right
know, I'm
now.
working on the Vassal module, but they haven't asked me to start yet.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm talking to Jim Soto yesterday. He came over and he was helping with the playtest for Alau, but they're planning on doing another um, uh, little smaller game type of a thing. And I was mentioning, hey, well, if you want to have something where it's a vassal module, I know some people that could help with that. So
Oh yeah.
it could be the sort of thing that I connect you guys, and then maybe you could help them with a vassal module. So
Is it a Labatai?
it is a Labatai. So
Great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, what I see a lot of guys do is they'll take one of the existing Labatai modules and they'll
Yep.
just basically swap out all the graphics, this, that, everything else, and then repopulate it with a new map and counters and whatnot. But all the basic stuff is still there, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the right way to develop, unless you have a reason not to.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
All right.
Matt, this was a lot of fun. I had a good time. I hopefully everybody who's watching or who'll be watching this in the future will enjoy and learn from our experience. And then I should be able to play next Thursday morning.
Well, let's
it's only
pencil that in and
yeah.
confirm before.
Yep, I will do so. All
Great.
right, very good. You have a great
Thanks a
evening.
lot.
All
You too.
right, bye.
Bye bye.